This is English Shorthand Dictation number 294 and the dictation speed is 120 words per minute. Ready? Start! I am happy to participate in this inaugural function of Platinum Jubilee of the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. As all of us are aware, this tribunal is the oldest quasi-judicial tribunal set up prior to our date of tryst with destiny. It is rightly termed as the mother of all tribunals. However, ever since the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal was set up in 1941 to decide income tax cases under the Income Tax Act 1922, the process of tribunalization of the justice system has slowly but surely grown to cover more and more areas of dispute resolution. The tribunals were established with the object of providing a speedy, cheap, and decentralized adjudication of cases arising out of the various welfare legislations. Another important reason for the new development was that while the courts were accustomed to dealing with cases primarily according to law, the exigencies of modern administration require the adjudication of disputes not necessarily on the basis of technical questions of law, but also after considering the policy intentions and by a body manned by experts who could professionally and fairly deal with the issues which required technical expertise. Friends, we are aware of the problem of delays in the disposal of cases in courts, and the backlog of litigation continues to plague the credibility and effectiveness of the judiciary. In India, the time taken by courts to resolve disputes between parties is significantly high, whereas we have global examples like Singapore, where courts on an average take only about 125 days, that is just over 4 months. Tribunals were set up to reduce pressure on the courts. Since the tribunals are meant for speedy justice, if it is not achieved, the continuance of tribunals would lack justification. One of the concerns expressed on efficacy of tribunals is that though they were supposed to address the issue of delays and pendency in the existing judicial system, they seem to be bogged down with the same problems. Although there is no mandate for tribunals to follow the procedure laid down in the Code of Civil Procedure or to be bound by the provisions of the Evidence Act, it seems tribunals still follow them, leading to delays and inefficiency. Concerns have also been expressed on the quality of judgments delivered by certain tribunals. At the same time, the working of tribunals has been assailed on lack of independence also. The tribunals have been vested with the power of reviewing or overseeing appeals from the actions of the executive, except in few cases when only the private parties are involved. Thus, the requirement of independence and exhibiting higher standards of performance is far greater in case of tribunals. The hallmark of any institution depends upon the reputation which it builds up over a period, and the litmus test is in maintaining consistency of it being fair and judicious, apart from rendering speedy justice. In this regard, I must say that the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal has steadily but consistently built up its reputation. I have noticed that the tribunal has a backlog of less than 1 lakh cases, but a close examination of the details reveals that broadly the appeals are disposed of within 6 months to 1 year from the date of institution. Of course, there are exceptions when cases are delayed on account of litigants. When all of you are aware that the income tax law is a complex piece of legislation where there have been frequent amendments year after year. Even for an expert body like Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, there is a strong need for the members and practitioners to constantly update their knowledge to perform the functions assigned to them in an effective manner. I would be glad to offer any assistance if the tribunal as an institution feels any necessity to upgrade skills of its members and comes up with a firm proposal in this regard. Friends, the objective of speedy justice cannot be achieved without active participation of the bar. The departmental representatives too need to extend their cooperation so that the appeals are disposed of within the time frame. The practice of seeking adjournments except when it becomes critical and vital must be curbed. The system of pre-trial hearings, which is gaining popularity in developed economies, should be put to use immediately. A major reform can be undertaken with digitalization of documents and setting up of e-courts. We must get rid of the habit of using paper. We must move in the direction of e-governance to provide the litigants better services not only for case management but also for introducing effectiveness and efficiency in the litigation cycle. The Income Tax Appellate Tribunal must conduct an internal evaluation of its procedures and adopt suitable modifications for quick and time-bound disposal. I understand that the tribunal is already in the process of digitalization and paperless filing of appeals. I am told that the first e-court was set up by the tribunal in 2012 at Mumbai to hear the cases of Nagpur bench, and they are also in the process of setting up e-courts in other places. It is a good measure. I am sure replication of these measures will result into not only in saving time but also in taking justice to the doorsteps of the litigants. Last but not the least, the courts have time and again observed that the government is the biggest litigant and hampering speedy justice in genuine cases. Our government has an objective of converting the government into a responsible litigant. A number of measures are being taken to reduce the litigation from government side. Recently, the Central Board of Direct Taxes issued a circular directing its officer to withdraw all the appeals from the tribunal where the tax effect is less than Rs 10 lakhs. I am sure the Central Board of Direct Taxes would come up with many more measures where the litigation can be reduced, including by not filing appeals in small and routine matters. I am conscious of the fact that the tribunal is facing shortage of staff and members, and for most of the time it has functioned with 20% shortage as compared to its sanctioned strength of members. Despite that, the tribunal has tried to maintain a healthy ratio between institution and disposal of appeals. I am also given to understand that more than 80% of the judgments rendered by the tribunal are accepted by the litigants, and even with regard to matters which are carried in appeal to the higher forums, orders of the tribunal are confirmed, barring a few instances. This indicates that the tribunal has maintained its rich tradition of rendering judicious and well-reasoned orders. On my part, it is my endeavor to see to it that the posts of members and staff are filled up at the earliest so that the tribunal can render justice in full steam. I once again congratulate the entire team of the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal for striving to come up to the expectations of its stakeholders and maintaining the high standards. I wish the institution all the best on the occasion of its Platinum Jubilee.